Hello and welcome to the trade setup. In this video we are looking at intuitive machines. This was a stock analysis request from one of the followers, and I wanted to let you know that anyone can make these requests and I'll most likely cover them, especially if there is an actionable trade setup to follow. And just a heads up, it might take a bit to actually get through them because there is a bit of a backlog going on right now, and with all the ongoing charts, the charts that we cover on an ongoing basis, it just takes a bit. And now to get to this chart, we are tracking here quite an interesting proposal. We have the interpretation of an impulse that could form here where we would have a double 1-2 setup already in place. Now the wave 2 could see a reset, but it is not necessary, and we could be looking here at a third wave to follow through. Now I do want to mention this is one of the interpretations that could be tracked on this chart. At this point it is possible for me to track even an impulse, and I will be doing so because this is also the first interpretation that would be likely to actually get destroyed by the actual structure data, the actual market sentiment. As within such a structure we would actually expect to form an impulse in this area in such a movement. Now based on the internal developments in this area, we could easily see another wave 2 reset, basically, where in the yellow interpretation we are tracking a resistance area that could allow a wave B to form a new top, where this initial movement to the downside would have only been a wave A. We would have here a correction in a wave B, and then we could see still another low within the wave C, and that is not really a problem from the long side interpretation, from the long side perspective of this chart, as we do still have quite enough room for another low within this area of support that we are tracking here for the white scenario. But if we are to really break below the 78.6% retracement here in a sustained manner, below the $4.9 level, it would be a signal that other structures should be more likely considered than what we have right now on the chart. Other structures that could even allow continuation higher here, but not necessarily within this interpretation of an impulse. Now in the smaller time frame, we have formed here an initial 5-wave move to the upside, so this has become interesting at that point. We even have afterwards a potential 3-wave correction to the downside, maybe more to the sideways, let's say, but we have here a potential 1-2 setup, and then we would like to see a third wave unfold within this area. And for such a scenario we actually have this on the chart, and this is what we are tracking mainly, and we would expect to form within this wave 3 or a 5-wave move to the upside, an impulse, and get to the ideal target, which is the 138.2% extension of the wave 1 around the $23.5 level. Now within such a development, within such a structure, there are a couple of options this could undertake. So ideally, I would like to see an even stronger movement unfold based on how large the initial wave 1 was, but we do have here the possibility of tracking a double 1-2-1-2 setup. The third wave to the upside could already be in place, and then we would expect a wave 4 correction into the area of support between the $15.4 all the way down to the $13.3 level, and then we would expect to form a 5th wave, and once this is complete we would have the larger wave 3, the larger internal wave 3 complete. After that, what is expected is really to complete another wave 5, as again this would be only the wave 3 complete. We would expect still a wave 4 afterwards, and then a 5th wave to complete this larger wave 3. This is all that is needed, but as I was mentioning, I would actually even like to see here a larger 1-2 setup in this area, where I wouldn't expect a deep retracement. If I see here a break below the 50% retracement, the $13.3 level, it would be already a very grave warning sign that this structure is no longer expected to form even a 5-wave move to the upside in this area, and that we should be looking with higher likelihood for the larger wave C to already be unfolding in the yellow scenario. But even within this 1-2 setup idea, I would still like to hold here the 50% retracement, but form a much stronger movement to the upside than necessarily what we would expect within a wave 5 in this area. But I do want to make it absolutely clear this is not needed. We can very easily get to the ideal target of this entire wave 3 within the pattern that we have here on the chart. Within this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, we can reach sufficiently close of such a target, and then we would still expect to form a 4th and a 5th to complete the larger structure. Now while doing this, we should also expect to break here above the resistance levels, which go all the way up to the $18.6 level, which would be in addition another signal that this structure has already likely bottomed here within the wave 2. Yeah, if we don't manage to break here the 78.6% retracement, it is a signal that there is still significant pressure to actually reset this wave 2 and follow through in the yellow interpretation in another wave to the downside. Yeah, likely a wave C in a 5-wave structure, because I could technically count this as a 5-wave move to the downside, and I might even prefer such an idea, but I could also consider this would be just an ABC movement all throughout, and it wouldn't necessarily be a problem either. Now, with that said, what to watch out for the most important aspect of this chart right now on the smaller time frame, and probably even affecting the larger time frames, is here the 50% retracement. Because it is really difficult to find structures that would allow continuation higher, even within a wave 3, even within a wave C I meant, yeah, even if in the idea of a larger ABC structure to follow through, it would be not necessarily ideal to be tracking this as a 1-2. Yeah, this would be an ending diagonal within the wave C in yellow, where this would be a 1-2, then again a diagonal pattern, which would expect an ABC here in a wave 3. We would expect a larger correction in a wave 4 that could still technically work out, and then still follow through in a 5th wave to complete the larger ABC movement. But honestly, if we fail to hold here the 50% retracement, it should be highly expected that this could have formed just a WXY structure to the upside, and that we could head in a very direct manner in the wave C. Yeah, a WXY could easily appear within this wave B, and in that case, this would be a wave A complete, a wave B complete, or sorry, a wave W complete, a wave X complete, and then within the wave Y, we would have here an ABC movement, which would be more than enough to consider this larger pattern, this larger correction in yellow complete. So all eyes should be here on the 50% retracement, where we don't want to see a sustained break. We want to see continuation of this larger trend to keep this scenario that would allow a more direct breakout alive. And that would be an early signal that this structure should not be necessarily tracked for the long position with a high reliability. And yeah, for now, these are the levels. This is the trade setup. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, don't forget to subscribe and let me know what else you want me to cover, and I'll do my best to do that in the days and weeks ahead. And until then, I hope you have a nice day, and I hope to see you in the next video. Bye bye.